Hey, Justin Dyson here at Dyson Apiaries. Out at a friend's house today. They thought they saw some swarm cells a week ago, and they actually came over and helped me a few minutes with some splits I was doing. And I ran over here and looked, and I found some interesting things here that I think can help some of you out. So stick right with us. So winning this hive is a double deep configuration. I've set the top deep off, and when we lifted the top deep, we found swarm cells on the bottom. Found a few that were capped. It's supposed to rain tomorrow, so we had a little bit of grace, but I guarantee you the hive in this situation with capped queen cells would probably hit the trees the day after the rain passes. So we got to take some action here. It's too far gone, in my opinion, to try to use some other swarm management techniques, and honestly they would like to kind of increase their numbers a little bit, and we have a great opportunity to do that. So there's a couple things we can do. If this were my apiary, and they've kind of gave me free will here to kind of do what I think's best, but I would actually make 2 full hive splits, because this hive is good and strong. I mean, they have brood across 6, 7, 8 frames in both boxes. I mean, of course they're not all full, but queen can't possibly lay more than a 10 frame box, I get that, but there's ample brood in both boxes. I'm going to kind of do a blended method of what's called a false swarm, and we're going to make 2 splits. So I've already found the queen here on this frame, and also on this frame is a nice pretty sealed queen cell. So I have the old queen, and what I'm gonna end up doing is making kind of 2 equal splits here, and I'm gonna make sure that both colonies have a couple good frames of honey left in them, and then several good frames of brood, and maybe an empty frame or 2. But then I'm gonna leave each of those colonies a good ripe sealed queen cell in both of them, and I'm gonna tear the rest of them down. I may leave 2 in each one just to be safe. And then I'm gonna take this old queen and I'm gonna put her over here in a nuke box with a few bees, and kind of keep her on standby. And this is, it's kind of a false swarm method, but I'm modifying it by actually making a split over here. And the reason I'm saving this old queen is because it's the end of March. We can get queens now out of the South, and a few in North Carolina here and there. If you got a local breeder or something that may spare one, it's still kind of hard to get those in this area right now unless you order from the South. So when we do this split, I'm gonna leave a queen cell in both of these, and that's gonna shut them down from swarming, because I'm not gonna leave a bunch of queen cells. Well, it may happen that one of those queen cells fails, or one of those queens goes out to mate, doesn't make it back for mating. So we still have this old queen sitting here in this nuke box, and hopefully at least one of them is successful. If both of them are successful, great. We got a little nuke running. We can keep that old queen running, or we could move her on down the road. It doesn't matter. But these 2 colonies would end up with 2 young queens. But if one of them fails, and we're just about to go into the nectar flow, if one of those fails, we can simply take that old queen and we can merge that nuke back with that colony that the queen failed in, and at that point we're still going to make honey with that colony. So that's kind of the goal. So what we're going to do is just kind of go through this colony, and we're going to find 2 good ripe queen cells to leave in each box, and we're going to kind of balance them up. Now this is a situation where we don't have another apiary multiple miles away to take the bees to, so we're actually going to have to kind of modify it a little more. With their current setup here, we could kind of split the difference with the hives and keep the field force coming into both hives a little bit, or we can just put way more bees in the one that's going to set in a new location here, because all those field bees are going to go back. I'm probably going to choose the method of kind of splitting the difference because of the way the hive stand is here. But just keep that in mind. If you're going to make a split here, and you're going to set the new hive here, you need to put way more bees in this colony here, because a lot of those are going to go back home. And as soon as we get done with the split, there's still plenty of bees here. We can go ahead and get rid of the mite treatment and probably go ahead and super, because we're about 2 weeks from flow starting, and these bees are going to need some room. So that's kind of where we're at, and we're going to go ahead and kind of work through them here. So right here is frame, I think this was frame 2. I took out frame 1 here. It's full of honey. Going to frame 2, we still have eggs, larvae, good number of bees, got a couple queen cells there, and once we get on to frame 3, we have good sealed brood, more sealed brood. More sealed brood. Like I said, they have a lot of brood in this colony. We're definitely in good shape. More sealed brood. And then we have, looks like a couple frames of foundation. Well, 1 frame of foundation and then a frame of honey. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and set this box up. I'm gonna set these aside for a minute. So that's a good frame of honey right here. Probably some pollen in it. Yep, so a good frame of honey and pollen. So this split, this top box is good with honey on that end. I'm gonna go ahead and put, let's go ahead and set up another bottom board here so I know what I'm doing. I'm gonna set this queen over here in this nuke for right now. There's a good queen cell on there that I don't want to damage, so I want to be careful with that frame. Kind of got caught off guard here, so we're going to makeshift a bottom board until they can get another one tomorrow, which will be just fine. Bees live in trees. They don't have to have perfect equipment. So we just kind of did a little makeshift bottom board here, and I'm going to go through and I'm going to leave them just 1 or 2 good queen cells. That one's not very far along. Yeah, there's a really good queen cell right there. That's a great one to leave. It's drawn out good. It was probably well fed. There's more up here. And I know I already have another good one on this frame over here, so I'm gonna leave, this is my frame that I'm gonna choose for this colony to make themselves a new queen.
There's 2 on there.
Yep. Yeah, there's another one over here. And this is a great opportunity here. This is one you could actually cut out if you wanted to split that off into another one. You can take a knife and kind of run in behind it, and kind of show you how I would do that. You can kind of cut in behind it, make sure you give some good margins there and you don't get into the queen cells royal jelly. And just like that, got herself another queen cell that you could use for another colony. It's important not to shake these queen cells around because you really don't know the age of them. And that larva can, if it's still in the larva stage right after it's capped, it can fall away from the royal jelly and it won't survive. So we're gonna leave that nice pretty cell right there and one other one on this frame, and hopefully with just a couple cells left they'll decide not to swarm again. A little smoke. Shake a few of those bees off there and just make sure I don't have a bunch more queen cells on there, because like I said, I don't want to leave them tons and tons of queen cells, because if I do, they will they'll swarm again. So I'm just kind of going through and killing off those swarm cells. because I already have a really good one. I really have a couple really good ones over on another frame. So again, just getting rid of those queen cells. They're everywhere. This hive is ready to swarm. So I already know where the queen's at. I'm gonna jump into this colony here, or this, what's about to be its own colony anyway. Good little frame foundation they're working on there. So this frame is full of eggs. Had a queen cell there, I just tore it up, taking the frames apart. Now if you came into this colony and you saw the side shoot out of some queen cells, there's already a virgin has emerged, so that's something to look for as well. Like I was talking about, I'm gonna put a few extra bees over here so they can continue to cover all that brood, because a lot of these field bees are gonna come back over here because this colony is kind of in the original spot. We kind of split the difference a little bit, but there'll still be some drift back. I'm gonna put one more shake over here. Kind of a light shake. Another frame of brood. Another big old queen cell right there. I've already shook that frame, so I'm gonna dispatch that one. Now, remember we have another colony to deal with over here, so we need to make sure they get a little love. So I'm gonna put a frame here. It's got some honey on it. I don't even have to put any brood in this nuke because the queen's in there. They got an old queen, so an empty frame will do. Just make sure they have some resources, because they're going to be a really small and kind of weak colony, and we don't want to. They're not going to be able to forage as much. So I need to find this queen on this frame here, and I can't. I got good queen cells on the bottom of this frame, so I want to salvage those for this parent hive. She's here somewhere. There she is. I think they were wanting to mark her, so I'm going to hold on to her for just a second. Marker. Hold this frame. She is already shrunk down. Come and look how small she is. All that brood in that colony, look how small she is. She's ready to fly. You gotta be careful sometimes with queens when they get this size because they can fly. As queens get this size, they can take wing. I'm gonna go ahead and put a little dot on her and get her on that frame that I put in there. All right, so now you got that frame. Here's a good frame of honey. I'm gonna put this frame of honey with this colony over here because they don't have any yet. So now we have a good frame of honey left on that colony, and let's go to cups. We got the queen cells right here. We have one, two capped on this side, and then 2 or 3 open. So I'm gonna do away with those open cells and just leave them 2 capped cells there in hopes that they go with it. I'm not going to shake this frame because it's got queen cells on it that I don't know the age of. Foundation frame will be just fine right there. They'll draw that out. And another frame of honey. That's good. I'm actually going to give this frame over here to this one. I gotta see where that queen's at. So now kind of have decent setup here. That's a good frame of honey to leave. Now this hive has a frame of honey on each side. This one is foundation, but it's got a lot of honey on it. So I'm gonna put it in this one. Now one additional thing I'm gonna do to try to keep them, because they're still strong. Still got a lot of bees in there. I'm gonna give them a little something to do with some foundation here. I'm gonna drop a frame in here. This is kind of called checkerboarding in a way. I'm not gonna do it all the way across though. Just gonna put a couple there. That'll give them something to do. And I'm gonna leave this frame over on the side over here. We'll go ahead and put this apivar back in here for now, and when they decide to super, they can pull these off. They got a little bit of room now, they got something to do, and they're going to get a brood break too, which is great for mite control. I'm going to touch this because I don't have my gloves on. Now, we'll go ahead. That one is done. Give me a little smoke. They get a little stirred up now. We've been in here a while. So that split is done. Like I say, we did a little makeshift bottom board there, but they'll be all right for a day or two. We have an extra queen cell here if we needed one for another colony. Been out there a little while now, but kind of the same goes for this one. I'm gonna go ahead and get this colony back together. We got a couple good queen cells in there and good amount of brood, good amount of bees. Some of those bees from that colony is going to drift back over here. This colony here, just for what we're doing with it, we're just going to leave them as a 2 frame. They got good honey. They got plenty of honey in here, and I want to see where that queen's at. I might have ran up on the side. Yeah, she's over there on the side. They got a good amount of honey. They actually have 0 brood in this colony, which is fine. It's okay. But that queen's still laying right now, and we're just going to fill this out with foundation for now. I'm not going to put that in there. We need to fix that, but we can fix that later. So this colony here, now we have the old queen with no brood. You can put some brood in there, but the old queen, no brood, a split and a split. I put a few extra bees in here because this was kind of a new location. So a few extra bees. Some of those are going to drift back. A couple good cap queen cells, a couple good cap queen cells, both colonies. Those queens are going to emerge in, I don't know how old they are, but you know, probably 5 days or less. They're going to emerge. They'll go out to mate. Hopefully they both get back. If one of them doesn't, we still have the old queen here. We can reinstall in one of these and keep going. Both these colonies will make honey this year. We still have really 3 weeks before the main nectar flow starts, and there's a lot of brood to emerge there. So these colonies will still be in good shape and hardly miss a beat. So that's what I would do in this situation, for what it's worth. So thanks for watching.